If you've been stuck for years trying to make your solos sound good, this lesson is for you. Now let me guess, you know all your pentatonic shapes, you have some great licks under your fingers, but for some reason, every time you sit down and solo, you end up playing the exact same stuff. It feels bland and it's frustrating. It feels like you're just connecting the dots instead of playing music. That's the exact problem this lesson is going to fix. Now, hidden inside every pentatonic scale are these little triad shapes that completely change how you approach soloing. Once you start seeing them, you'll instantly sound more musical and hit all those sweet, buttery notes that'll make your friends and your family get that sour stank face when they hear you play. If this is our first time meeting, I'm the Donut Doctor. I'm a Grammy-nominated guitarist and producer based in Los Angeles. I've toured with A-list celebrities across the globe, and as a Berklee College of Music graduate, I've helped thousands of players break out of their intermediate rut and rediscover the fun in soloing again. As always, you can grab the free tabs and backing track for this lesson in the description below. And one more thing, the last step here in this pentatonic triad system is the most important, so be sure to stick around till the end. Let's dive in. So first, let's start by taking a look at a simple chord progression in the key of E. The chords we're going to be working with today are E, A, C sharp minor, and B major. Let's first start by playing along with the backing track just to get acquainted with this chord progression. Starting on E. Now A, up to C sharp minor, down to B. Let's play those chords in a different position. Again, we're just getting acquainted with the track here. C sharp minor, Now, in this chord progression, we're just doing our one chord, the key of E, to 4 chord, going to our 6 minor, and then to our 5. So since we're in the key of E major or C sharp minor, depending on how you want to think about it, we know we can use our C sharp minor pentatonic scale. But aimlessly going around that minor pentatonic scale, it sounds just okay. So now that we're acquainted with our chord progression, let's dive into the pentatonic triad system. Now, what we're gonna do is start really small and very simple, okay? The key here is simplicity and anchoring new ideas to stuff that you already know. This is the fastest way you can learn and put things into your long-term memory. The last thing I want is for you to learn this and forget it tomorrow, okay? So everything that we're gonna learn today, we're anchoring to something we're familiar with. I'm assuming you're already familiar with our minor pentatonic box, okay? Now let's look at this first chord in the progression. We have the chord E major, okay? Now I want to find all these chords within my minor pentatonic box, because if we land on one of the chord tones, meaning any of the notes in that triad, it's gonna sound really melodic and really juicy, okay? It's gonna sound like we have direction and intention in our soloing. So to start, we're gonna try to find all of our triads on the D, G, and B strings within our minor pentatonic box. So check us out. If I'm here with C sharp minor pentatonic, if I play the 9th fret here on the D, G, and B, here I have an E major triad in second inversion. Now, with those 3 notes in mind, I now want to anchor this to my C sharp minor pentatonic. So check this out. Here's my E major triad, and look at this. We already know this is kind of our bar line for our minor pentatonic anyway, so we just go, oh, well, easy, I'm just gonna play the D, G, and B strings, and there's my E triad. Right, now we said the next chord is our A major. Check us out, only 2 notes change here. So if I start here with E, to move to A, I simply put my ring finger on the D string 11th, and then I put my middle finger on the B string 10th. And now I have, check us out, I can go very easily from E to A because we have a common tone, right? This note E here just happens to be in the chord E, and also happens to be the 5th of our A major chord. So this little triad right here is A major, happens to be in first inversion. But check us out, now I want to again put this into my long-term storage by anchoring it to our minor pentatonic box. So look at this. If I look at these 3 notes, I say, well, these 2 notes are in my minor pentatonic box, right? The only additional note that's outside of our pentatonic box, again, this is where the juice is coming from, is this note right here, which happens to be, again, on the 10th fret of the B string. So I go, okay, cool. Now here's my A. And again, if it helps you to play the triad and then play your minor pentatonic scale, just to really bake it in there, absolutely do that. So E to A. Now we're gonna go to C sharp minor is the next chord. Now check us out. From our A here, all I want you to do is lift up your middle finger. Flip me off right here, okay? And we got, here we have 11, 9, 9, and again on the D, G, and B strings, here's our C sharp minor. What the heck? This is literally notes from our minor pentatonic scale. So again, I said you already know this information. It's just a matter of finding it, making sense of it, baking it into your long-term storage, right? Boom, okay. So check us out. We just played E, A, C sharp minor without even freaking moving a muscle. E, A, C sharp minor. Boom, boom, boom. Now, for B, we unfortunately are gonna have to move down out of position. However, we will have 1 note that is actually still in our minor pentatonic box. So for B, if you kind of just think of your basic, E-shaped bar chord here off of the 7th fret, we're just playing the D, G, and B strings. That would be 9, 8, 7. Now, to connect this to our minor pentatonic box, I kind of look at it like, okay, well, here's one of my notes on the D string in the minor pentatonic, and I'm just gonna build that triad shape kind of in the back door is what I call it. We're going to the back door here, right? Now, with that all in mind, we can put this together. If you're digging this lesson and you want to take everything that we're talking about today to the next level and really dig in, check out my Back to Basics system. It's a full deep dive into everything that we're covering here. Triads, fretboard connection, and building real confidence across the fretboard. You'll walk away knowing exactly how to turn these ideas into solos that sound professional and effortless. There's a link down below in the description where you can learn more and grab your spot. When we put the backing track back on and go to practice this, limitations are key. All I want you to do, first time we play through it, is just play the actual triads themselves, just like chords, like we're strumming along the chord progression. Then we are going to go through that same idea, except we're going to arpeggiate them up and down. Okay? Then after that, we're going to start utilizing these notes for soloing. But again, the limitation here is we can only use the notes from the triads. So let's kick on the backing track again and go through these 2 exercises and then start making some real music with this pentatonic triad system. Okay, let's go through again. First, just playing chords. Just strumming through all 3 notes. C sharp minor, down to B in the back door. Now let's arpeggiate through them. Here we go. E, A, C sharp minor, E. Let's do that one more time. E, A, C sharp minor. We also see how this is really useful as a rhythm part too, right? So now let's go through the same chord progression and we're gonna use these ideas to solo. So don't just hammer the same notes over and over rhythmically. Let's make it a little more rhythmically fun and see what happens. Now utilize slides, hammer-ons and pull-offs, bends. Here's some slides, ready? Bending up to this note. real sauce comes in, okay? Now that we have that limitation set, let's try branching out a little bit. The next challenge here is every time the chord changes, I want you to land on one of the notes from your triad shape. And then you have the rest of the bar to play any licks that you want, okay? So whatever minor pentatonic licks you have in your bag, interject those in between. But every time the chord changes, land on one of those notes and you'll see how melodic it really sounds. Let me give you a quick example. Last step would be to remove limitations altogether. Make it not essential to necessarily always land on a chord tone every time we're changing chords, although that will really give you that sweet, intentional soloing sound. All your favorite guitarists, if you hear like a John Mayer solo or a Derek Trucks solo, if you analyze what they're playing over the chord changes, a lot of the times they'll target the third of the chord. That is the strongest note because it gives you the most information about the triad. It says this is a major chord, this is a minor chord, right? It tells us what's going on, so it feels really good to the listener's ear, and it sounds like you really know what you're doing. So that's one more exercise you can try, targeting all your thirds, for example. Again, mixing these into your everyday playing is absolutely essential and key for storing them into your long-term memory. I want you to play these all the time, okay? And again, we really just addressed just one little position here, but if you're familiar with all of your triads, if you know all your triads up and down the neck, you can do this absolutely anywhere, all over the neck. So it's just an endless, endless supply of gold. So again, work this into your daily practice. Try this over different chord progressions. And as always, make it as simple as possible. If these 4 chords was too much, just go E to A. Practice simple, okay? Don't rush ahead to try to feel smart, okay? Doing things very simply and practicing things that make you feel almost dumb is the best way to level up fast. If I feel kind of dumb when I'm practicing something, I know I'm doing it right. If I'm feeling confused when I'm practicing, that's a telltale sign that you're practicing the wrong stuff. Now that you know how to use the Pentatonic Triad system to completely change the way you see the fretboard and level up your solos, check out this lesson next to keep the party going and dive a little bit deeper into some of these triad ideas.